Hi, and welcome to the Ask Dr. Angela show with everyone's favorite OBGYN, Dr. Angela Jones. Have you ever been just too embarrassed or shy to ask your own doctor a question about your, private stuff? Well, you have come to the right place to get straight answers. Feel free to ask Dr. Angela anything women's health related. OBGYN, she keeps it real. Pregnancy, she knows what you're expecting. Whole body health, just ask. Dr. Angela has you covered, girl. And now here is Dr. Angela.
Hey now, this is Dr. Angela, everyone's self-proclaimed favorite OBGYN, and I would like to officially welcome you to episode 17 of the Ask Dr. Angela podcast. I am so wired today, and I don't even know why. I'm post-call. The past 24 hours of my life have been insane, which is typical of being on call for me. I got up, I was at the hospital at like 7 o'clock. I did 3 deliveries, came home, had dinner with my family, circa 8 p.m., had an opportunity to say goodnight to my daughter, and then lo and behold, just when I think I'm going to get some good rest, 12 o'clock, my phone rings, off to the hospital I go. Needless to say, I did not return home until about 7:30 this morning, and I'm one of those people that even if I've not had that much sleep, I can't just come home and get in the bed and crash. Number one, because my wife and I have a family to run. We have to exercise. We have to get my little one off to school. But also, it kind of really throws a wrench in my day. So instead of going to bed, I am podcasting to you, and I'm going to practice my guitar and get my blog post for tomorrow ready. So the day just keeps going on and on and on. I am constantly reminded on a daily basis just how amazing women are, that we just do so much. And, we just do it, right? We need to be like the walking campaign for Nike. Women just do it. So let's jump right into today's question. And I love this question from Trooper. And Trooper, what I want to say to you is, don't be embarrassed. To all the women and folks out there, do not be embarrassed, because I'm going to tell you, just when I think that I've seen and heard it all, someone else walks in with something that tops the cake, so to speak. So, Trooper, I know you were embarrassed to ask this question, but I'm super excited and psyched that you did. And go ahead and shoot and share with us what's on your mind today.
Dr. Angela, the question I have to you is, why is it that every time I have sexual relations with my husband and he reaches an orgasm and he ejaculates inside of me, my vagina smells awful afterwards? It almost smells as bad as a garbage truck. It is the most embarrassing thing that I have ever dealt with, and it's very embarrassing to discuss it, even with a doctor, because that's not how I keep my body. How do I stop this from happening? Why does it happen? And am I the only one with this problem? I can't even discuss it with my girlfriends because I'm so embarrassed.
First of all, Trooper, thank you again for submitting your question. And girl, please do not be embarrassed. You are not, I repeat, you are not the only one that feels like this, that feels like you have a terrible odor after intercourse. As a matter of fact, one of my closest girlfriends, who shall remain nameless, has asked me on a rare occasion to call her something in because she didn't feel so fresh after intercourse. So the reason that I share that with you is just to let you know that we all have these conversations, whether it's with our girlfriends, whether it's me with my patients. It's not just you. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let me address your question. Number one, no, it's not just you. Number two, why do you have this odor after intercourse? This is what I'm going to tell you about the vagina. The vagina, as amazing as it is, and you guys know I see vagina every day, whether it's in a delivery, whether it's in the office, doing exams, etc. So on a day-to-day basis, I am amazed at just what the vagina can do. Having said that, and having said that the vagina is truly an amazing organ, I'm also going to tell you that, like women, the vagina is very temperamental. I'm going to say that again. The vagina is extremely temperamental. And what I mean by that is the vagina is an environment that loves to be acidic, i.e. the pH needs to be acidic. That's typically how the vagina thrives, that makes the vagina happy. And sometimes if the pH is thrown, i.e. if the vagina becomes too basic, and circumstances that I see this a lot in are going to be pregnancy, sometimes around a woman's menstrual cycle, where the pH can be somewhat thrown off by a lot of the hormonal changes and imbalances that can occur during those time periods. I'm also going to say to you that a man's semen, sperm, if you will, can also alter the pH of the vagina. I'm not going to just say that your man has funky spunk, although I think that's kind of funny, and no offense to you. It just really kind of reminded me of, did anyone ever see that Sex and the City episode with Samantha? If you didn't, it might be worth YouTubing, Googling, whatever. But Trooper, your partner's semen or sperm can absolutely alter your vaginal pH. It can certainly make the vagina, which is, again, typically acidic, more basic. So, it's not anything that you are doing. Recommendations that I have include making sure that you do not have an underlying infection. Bacterial vaginosis is probably going to be, again, the more common one, and that's typically associated with that fishy odor. It's caused by an increase in the amine level. I didn't mean to go all biochemistry on you there, but that's kind of the science behind it. That's easily diagnosed. I mean, most women absolutely know that they have it. You may or may not have a discharge associated with it. Typically, if you do, it's thin, white, kind of homogeneous in appearance, if you will. And again, it has that characteristic fishy or amine odor. And sperm, again, can certainly cause that shift in a woman's vaginal pH. If you are diagnosed with this, and again, that's typically done in the office, and again, is done very easily, whether it's by doing cultures, checking the pH of your vaginal discharge, or even going old school and doing what we call a wet prep and looking under the microscope. That's readily treated with antibiotics. Another thing that I oftentimes will recommend to my patients is to make sure that you are using really boring soap. And when I say boring soap, I mean just the plain white bar. Dove, Ivory are probably two of my favorites. I find that soaps that have scents or perfumes, again, tend to offset the pH of the vagina. And again, as sensitive as I just previously told you that the vagina is, you want to avoid those things. If you are someone that works out a lot, I oftentimes will also recommend that you get out of those wet clothes as expeditiously as you can. Warm and moist leads to vaginitis, whether it's yeast or, again, bacterial vaginosis. So make sure that you are wearing clothing that allows you to breathe, underwear or panties, if you will, that are cotton and are readily absorbent. Sometimes I even recommend to women that you put a non-scented powder. Just sprinkle it in the lining of your panties just to help absorb some of that extra moisture. There's also that common saying that you are what you eat. Certain foods like garlic and asparagus can certainly throw off the scent of your vagina. And there's also some literature out there that suggests that eating sweet things like pineapple, yummy, will help to kind of sweeten things or freshen things up down there, if you will. So, Trooper, kind of a long explanation to your question, but I certainly hope that you found some help in what I had to say. I want to thank you so much again for taking time out of your crazy schedule to submit a question to the Ask Dr. Angela podcast, for your trouble and for going out on a limb and taking a chance and asking your question. I am going to have my team reach out to you and we will send you one of my t-shirts. They are really fantastic, or as you oftentimes hear me refer to them, they're pretty badass. So we'll reach out to you, gather your information, and get one of those in the mail to you. For those of you who would like to have one of your questions featured on the Ask Dr. Angela podcast, please go to www.askdrangela, that's AskDrangela.com. Click on the microphone and do what you do. I would love, 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 love to hear from you. Also, please make sure that you remember to state your name, just your first name, and where it is that you were calling from, because we love to hear where you're from. It's just amazing, the demographic from which we're getting all these questions from. So please, please, please keep them coming. Trooper, thank you again. Remember, there is nothing that is too embarrassing to ask, because most of us are women. We have a fair following of men also, but most of us have been there. So just throw it out there, okay? I'm only here to help. In closing, I'd like to leave you with this. Worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow. It only saps today of its joy. That's pretty good. I think it was Bobby McFerrin that said, don't worry, be happy. Until next time, look better, feel better, be better. Can't wait to connect with you on episode 18.
Thank you for listening to the Ask Dr. Angela podcast. For more information on women's health and the show notes for this episode, please visit Dr. Angela at www.askdrangela.com. While you're there, don't forget to leave your own message for Dr. Angela. See you soon! All of the information provided and discussed in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and should not take the place of consulting a physician. This podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any diseases or illnesses and does not and should not replace treatment for a medical professional. Listening to and participating in this podcast does not create a doctor-patient relationship between you and Dr. Angela Jones. If you need medical advice or assistance, you should consult a physician. Listening to and participating in this podcast is subject to the terms and conditions posted at drangela.com/terms.